Now, we're continuing talking about this Diverting Hate report, and I am going to talk about the Sandman. He is the one that scored the highest on the Male Supremacy Scale. I have never heard of this content creator, but he has been doing content for Encelosauruses and MGTOW for at least a decade. So we have heard these concepts. We have heard him speak these concepts. We've heard these Encelosauruses, these MGTOW, these manosphere people say these concepts for so long. It is in our vocabulary, so we know it. He got the Male Supremacy Score of a 93. Now, who is this? Now, I am going to play some of his video clips. That way you can hear, like, yeah, I can see where a lot of these terms come from. And these same 5, 6 talking points have been in the, the manosphere, the world, the social media world for a long time. But who is the Sandman? All right, Sandman, a prominent white male MGTOW, men going their own way, influencer hailing from Canada, is known for creating original content presented through voiceovers accompanying various images. He delves into a wide range of topics related to MGTOW, addressing them well before they gain mainstream attention. Sandman's videos consistently score high in terms of effort and engagement. His content provides a comprehensive exploration of reasons why women might be perceived as primarily interested in high-status men. Additionally, Sandman discusses how he views feminists as a potential threat to society, offering his perspectives on these complex subjects. Despite his foresight and early entry into the MGTOW movement and RedPill discussions, Sandman has maintained relevance and growth. In November 2023, he boasted 203 subscribers, and by March 2024, his followership had increased to 206,000. This suggests a steady and continued interest in his content, underscoring his influence within the MGTOW community and beyond. First, let's listen to one of his old videos.
Everyone, Sandman here. I'm getting a number of people asking me to do an introduction video for MGTOW, so here it is. I'm going to cover 25 of the most important video topics that I've covered since I've started my channel. And the first thing to remember about MGTOW is that a man that has taken the metaphorical red pill is a man that has learned the ugly truth about female nature. Women are made out to be harmless, beautiful creatures, but the truth is many women today will rip out your heart and testicles through your wallet and move on to their next victim with absolutely no second thoughts. And they often have no guilt or remorse in the process. So taking the red pill is making yourself aware of how women operate, and you stop being naive about it. With regards to becoming a MGTOW, there are 4 or 5 different levels to MGTOW. The first level is the purple pill man. This is the man that's aware that women use the government, the courts, and men's desires to reproduce to take advantage of men. But the purple pill man believes that the risks of a relationship and marriage are often worth the potential punishment. A level 2 MGTOW believes in dating and short-term relationships, but not marriage, long-term relationships, or cohabitation with women. To him, these often seem very dangerous. A level 3 MGTOW doesn't believe in dating women at all, and limits his interactions with women as much as possible. A level 4 MGTOW tries to limit his interactions with the state and everyone else as much as possible too. He is what is referred to as a guy that's ghosting or trying to stay invisible to women and the state. All of this is explained in greater detail in a video marked number 1 below in the description called MGTOW Dating. So once you know where you stand with regards to the spectrum, then you either have a choice to stay away from women entirely or take varying relationship risks. Then you basically can start to gain true situational awareness. This is where you start to identify different types of female behavior and begin to understand what motivates women to act in such ways. One very important thing to remember is that many more women today, in their 20s, than in past generations, are riding the cock carousel. This means they are having no strings attached sex with, in some cases, dozens of men before they decide to settle down with a single guy, if they decide to settle down at all. And I'm linking to my video called The Cock Carousel, which is number 2, down below. From now on, each and every topic that I bring up, I will put a link to it below. And at this point, I'm going to stop mentioning it and let you explore these particular topics on your own, and explore the description on your own as well. Women look to settle down with a beta male provider, a blue pill man with little to no understanding about female nature. If he's ignorant about the way women operate, then he's more easily manipulated. A man aware of how women function in society and manipulate men in covert ways are harder to guilt and shame into doing the things that she wants. He knows the game, so he's harder to trick into marriage, protection, and resource extraction. Shame is the name of many women's game, and in this case, it doesn't work. After a woman convinces her beta male blue pill man that marriage is a good idea for him, then she has a child or two which at some point allow her to leave that relationship and use those children as a way to get child support from her husband. People wonder why men go their own way, and one of the biggest reasons is that they have been burned by women through the divorce courts and are often paying lifetime alimony as well as child support to their ex-wives. In many cases, the family courts also award the full value of the family home to wives. And the majority of men visiting this YouTube channel are often in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. Men that have been taken to the cleaners, so to speak, and have had their eyes opened a little too late. They are here to become MGTOWs because they are shocked at the way women took advantage of them. As well, they're here to understand how women use their beauty and behavior to trick men. Another important thing to remember is that women age like milk, while men age like wine.
Before seeing this video, I had no idea there were levels to MGTOW. The purple pilled man is level 1, who's still like interested in women. Level 2, the pump and dumper, who knew? Number 3, the MGTOW monk, so he's just living alone. Level 4, the ghost, and level 5, the hermit. I don't know. Did you know that there were these levels? And it just seems like these people are really wanting to go their own way, and they are literally creating a whole ministry surrounding this. No wonder this man and these types of people are being targeted, because obviously if they have this much disdain for women, they are dangerous. Look at this comment at the bottom from 6 years ago. No wife, happy life. It's not like you don't have to choose a wife these days. You really don't. So here's his Twitter page. It looks like his Twitter presence is mostly, or at least his most recent stuff, is just resharing Encelosaurus's memes. That's pretty much it. Maybe in his old content, he was teaching the tenets of MGTOW, but I guess since he has so many videos that is basically teaching the tenets of MGTOW, all he has to do now is share the fruits of his labor. So the Sandman reshared this one, and Paul says, what's your pick if you just had 5 minutes for a quickie? And Sandman is like, how about none? So Sandman is all about no female connection at all. Now, when the Sandman heard about him being on this report, here is the reaction he gave. Now, I guess the Sandman is also demonetized, so he's able to create these videos because they have people that are giving them money to create this content. So here is his video talking about the fact that he was targeted for this report.
Sandman here, this video was brought to you by a donation from Mark. He didn't give me a topic, so I wanted to cover why yours truly, the Sandman, was put on a secret report called Misogynistic Extremism, the manosphere in mainstream social media. Not only am I on the list, but I'm also at the top of it. It's called the Peril Homeland Security Watch List. So why am I number 1 at the top of misogyny's most wanted? According to the report, which I've linked to down in the description, before they gain mainstream attention and have influence in the MGTOW sphere and beyond. Looks like they're starting to panic because guys like me, Pearl Davis, Richard Cooper, Rollo Tomasi, Aaron Clary, and so many others have now changed the world. But the way I see it, the women have already lost the war. You can't defeat an idea that's spread everywhere. And I'm glad I helped make the red pill of female nature mainstream over the last 10 years or so. It only took them a decade to figure out the full scale of what I did. They've demonetized many of us like myself, Legion of Men, Pearl Davis, Fresh and Fit, and we're on the list with an asterisk next to our names. The reason that matters is because they wanted to run their woke ad campaign on our channels to prevent so-called radicalization of men, and they weren't allowed to. They think that even with no YouTube money, we found ways to monetize our audience, which is true. We had no choice but to figure out alternate ways to survive and become stronger and resilient. On top of this, many of us also have crypto assets outside the banking system, multiple passports, and are ready to leave the country to fight the good plight someplace else. One teacher said that her male students were starting to use female talking points and manipulation techniques, all because of us. When she got upset at them, they would say things like, "Miss, are you feeling all right? You seem to be really upset." And then it triggered her, and they pointed out that she was losing it. They were just asking a question trying to make her feel bad. She said it was weak what they were trying to do, and she tried shaming them. But these guys were just using feminine attacks where you ask the person, "Are you okay?" pretending to be concerned. But what you're doing is pointing out to everyone else how unhinged they are getting and making them more self-conscious. Women took men's ability to fight back directly, so we're using their own passive-aggressive techniques against them. And they don't like it. Boys will get punished for acting like both boys and girls, but girls will be rewarded for acting like boys or girls. That's where this is heading. But getting back to the list, when I saw it, I thought to myself, how thoughtful of someone to put together a list of channel recommendations for all of us. I'm also kind of disappointed that they didn't put Better Bachelor on the list. Someone recently told me that he has a girlfriend, and he told me he's probably going to get married. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. I think he's too smart to fall for marriage. Besides, these numbers are rookie numbers. Why haven't those been pumped up? If only TFM was still on YouTube, he would have received a perfect 100 score. I find it hilarious that I've been heavily shadow banned and I'm still #1 on their list. But I know exactly why. Because they probably trace back a lot of the ideas and language in the manosphere today to my earlier content, and probably worry that I might do something similar in the future. I'll discuss more in a moment. Supremacy have adapted to demonetization. They don't want us to make any money, but at the same time they're disappointed because they can't pay to run their propaganda campaigns on our channels. That includes myself, Fresh and Fit, Just Pearly Things, and Legion of Men. The goal of their Diverting Our Hate campaign was to suppress the growth of targeted creators such as myself by running ads on our channels. America is supposed to be a country that allows freedom of speech, and yet here we have US taxpayer dollars being used to censor us. So what did I do to deserve the honor of receiving the so-called title of misogynist in chief, do you ask? Well, there are 15 items that they use to determine that. How much our content matches their male supremacy criteria. The first one is feminism is about hating men. I will agree to that, considering that they're literally feminists that abort their young if they're males, and others that say that they need to end all men. Feminists that say that aren't being canceled. The second point is modern society prioritizes women over men. The family courts certainly do. The affirmative action programs hiring women certainly do as well. The education system too. The third point they make is that feminists are unattractive. The feminists I've seen at events like Slutwalk were definitely not easy on the eyes. The majority were overweight and not what you'd call traditional beauties. But many Western women are unattractive these days too. Point number 4 is that women use feminism to gain an unfair advantage over men. Again, the family courts and education are proof enough. Number 5, feminists are seeking to control men. This report is absolute proof of that. You see them trying to shut down our freedom of speech, make criticizing female nature a hate crime in the UK and Canada. Point number 6, if a man commits to a woman in a relationship, she gets the upper hand. For the most part, yes, if he falls in love and starts to white knight for her. His brain then rewires to serve as her and all female kind. That was my experience being in relationships. Not only does she get the upper hand over the man when he falls in love with her, but all women as he starts white knighting for women that he barely knows. The next point is promoting the idea that women are less trustworthy than men in a relationship. Women cheat more than men in general. That's a fact. Women also say things like, "I'll be ready in 5 minutes," or "You're such a nice guy, let's just be friends." If they were actually trustworthy, they would say things like, "I'll be ready in an hour." But they typically say, "I'll be done in 5 minutes" to piss you off. Or they could say that they don't want a relationship with you. And please don't waste your time because I only want to friend zone you. Now that would be honesty. Up next, men in romantic relationships need to be constantly on guard for cheating. That's not true if your sexual marketplace value is higher than any other man that she can get with. Then you don't have to worry about her cheating as much. She's just going to resent you for being the best man she can get. The 9th point is women have a biological drive to cheat on their partners. Yes, if their man is a beta male and they want the better baby batter inside of themselves. In places like Jamaica, the paternity fraud rate is 30%. Cheating has reached epidemic proportions there. Number 10 is you can't trust women to be faithful in relationships. Usually women are only as faithful as their options. Number 11, women are driven biologically to seek out the high status males. Yes, I've had women that showed zero interest in me in the past until they found out that I was a Sandman. And suddenly the status triggers attraction in them. It's one of their greatest aphrodisiacs. Next up, women can't help but be attracted to rich men. How did the lyrics go to that song? I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with a broke N-word. Women seek out money, looks, and status. And to say that if I mention that, somehow I'm a misogynist, which is absolutely insane. Number 13 is another repeat saying that women are attracted to high status males. Number 14, women are not attracted to low status males. They are if the guy's super good looking. Number 15 also repeats that women are attracted to high status males. The writing in this is terrible, and I can tell that it's been written by women because of all the verbal diarrhea. For the most part, they type like they speak. There are dozens of other manosphere content creators that aren't on this list, like Terrence Popp, Taylor the Fiend, and Psychax, which is pretty much mainstream now.
Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about this. And I will continue going down this list talking about the other content creators that have been targeted.